Hi guys, welcome back to Dev Astrology. Today we are doing the June monthly reading and I am going to get started with the important dates, key dates that are going to come into play. These dates are crucial for us to understand the shift of the planets from one house to the other. So let's deep dive and look into it. As you can see on the screen here, you have Sun in the sign of Taurus until the first half of this month. And from June 15th, he will be moving into the sign of Gemini. Then Mercury is making multiple house shifts during the course of this month. He's starting with Taurus, then from June 6th onwards, he's moving into the sign of Gemini in his own house and its own sign, and then he will be moving into the sign of Cancer from June 22nd. You have Venus, which is going to be staying in the sign of Aries for almost the entire duration of the month, barring the last 2 days when he is going to come into his own sign of Taurus from June 29th. Mars has been in debilitation in the sign of Cancer. You can see the smile on my face, and it is coming out into the sign of Leo, where he will get conjunct with Ketu, and we'll talk about that in a bit from June 6th onwards. Then you have Jupiter, which is, and this is wrongly represented, but Jupiter is already into the sign of Gemini and it's coming into Akshatra from June 13th. Now, Saturn is in Pisces in Uttara Nakshatra. Rahu is in Purv Bhadratra, which is that of Jupiter as well. Just to call out, Saturn is in its own nakshatra placement. So that is again interesting. And last but not the least, is an Uttara Nakshatra that ruled by Sun in a sign of Leo. So guys, let's deep dive now into the reading and understand what would be the impact of these planets through the course of the month.
So Pisces, as you guys can see on your screen here, you have Saturn placed in your Lagna. Your Lagna Lord Jupiter is currently placed in your fourth house, which is a good position in my mind for Jupiter to be in. Now, both for your Saturn as well as for Jupiter, we have done a detailed reading. For Saturn, we did it in the month of March, and for Jupiter in May. If you've not had a chance, please go ahead and check that out. Now, you have to understand here that when Saturn comes into the ascendant, if you are watching especially from a Pisces moon perspective, it is also going to give the impact of Sadhasati for you guys. So it is going to be the onset of the second phase of Sadhasati. And when Saturn comes into the Lagna, into the first house, it is going to demand a lot of hard work. It is going to expect you to put a lot of effort and prove your meritocracy, prove your worth, that whether or not you deserve the outcome, because for Saturn it is a natural house of debilitation. It's a natural position of debilitation, and thus it becomes an extremely tricky situation. From here he gives an aspect into your third house. Your third lord is Venus, which is currently 12th to itself, but in the second house. And Pisces, it is not at all a bad situation. I'm not a huge fan of Venus being placed in the sign of Aries, but in this case Venus is coming into the second house, which is for Kal Purush chart, his natural own house of ownership. So from a finance perspective, from a family blessings perspective, from your food, diet, health perspective, it is going to become crucial and a positive period. There will be some initial bit challenges, but you will do well overall in terms of harmony across all these factors. To make matters interesting, Venus is the lord of the eighth house sitting in your second. So he is giving an aspect back into the, you will be eventually working towards your fitness, towards your health, towards overcoming the right mechanisms that brings in longevity. But you have to also understand that the third lord has gone 12th to itself, and the eighth lord has come 7 positions away into your second house. So there will be some level of suddenness, there will be some level of transformation, there will be some level of challenges that could also come with respect to your savings, with respect to your family, with respect to your diet itself. So you will have to deal with that level of ambiguity. It also means that you will be seeking support of your family, or your family could provide support in your entrepreneurial pursuit, in your courageous affairs, because you will be taking tough, hard, difficult decisions during this phase of time as well. And Saturn is continuously testing you as to how strong, how self confident you are whilst acting upon those decisions. He's giving it an aspect into your seventh house as well, which is an sort of an exalted aspect, given that he's in a sort of debilitated position here. So it is not going to be a bad situation from your self pursuits, from your entrepreneurial perspective, from your relationship standpoint. And he's also going to test your resolve from your karma, from your effort, from your career perspective, with his 10th aspect. Now, as we move further, we realize that Sun, which happens to be the lord of your sixth house, is currently placed in your third. And he is under the influence or under the aspect of Saturn as well. There is definitely going to be a situation where you will be facing constant pressure, constant heat from a job environment, from a work environment, from a career perspective. You are going to face that challenge, but at the same time, when a malefic is placed into the third house, it also gives you the ability to fight and overcome those situations. You will have the right bent of mind to take those analytical decisions, those logical decisions that give you the right direction to traverse through, to maneuver through those problems. It is important that you maintain a day to day rigor, you maintain a certain schedule in your life. And Mars is going to help. We are going to talk about that in a bit, because Mars has come and placed itself in your sign of Leo, in your sixth house itself. Now, you have to note that Sun's movement is 10 places away in the first half of this month. And this means that there is going to be that extra bit of effort, extra bit of karma that you have to put related to your job, related to loans, litigations, any kind of problems, any kind of obstacles that come your way. You will have to fight through your way to success. And that is what Sun is going to demand from you. Now, the Sun is also giving an aspect towards your ninth house, which means both short distance and long distance. Short duration and long duration journeys are going to be materializing for you in the first half of the month. Example is me. I am also delayed in releasing my videos for that very reason, right? So, journeys are going to be imminent in the first half of June, and you will be working in that direction. But it will also bear positive fruits for you guys. So, Pisces, do not drop the ball. It is going to be ambiguity. It is all about difficult situations. But the harder you push yourself, the better the results will be. There could be situations where you get into conflict with your bosses, conflict with your father. Not so great situations in terms of keeping harmony. So it is important that you take a step back and let the other person win the battle so that you can win the war. That has to be your strategy, Pisces. In the second half of the month, Sun will be moving 11 places away into the fourth house and will become conjunct with Mercury and Jupiter. Now, you guys know, again, Sun directionally doesn't get great strength into the fourth house, but the beautiful part is that there will be 3 planets that will be giving an aspect into your 10th house, along with Saturn, which is already aspecting. So your 10th house is going to become extremely prominent and activated. And I just completely missed counting Ketu as well in that aspect there. So career, work, profession, job, business, your day-to-day chores, your activities, your self-respect, your market adulation, your appreciation, public respect, all of those things are going to become extremely crucial and of deep importance. And you are going to find positive success, positive movement in that area. However, directionally, Sun is in a difficult spot and might not be able to deliver the outcomes that you desire. However, this conjunction of Sun with Jupiter and Mercury is going to bring some promising outcome for you guys from a work and career profession perspective. Now, if we move further, you'll realize that your Lagna Lord, or if you are watching this from a Pisces moon standpoint, your Rashi Lord Jupiter is placed in his natural house of exaltation, which is the fourth house. And he is conjunct uh, next to Mercury, which is the Lord of this particular house itself. Now, the good part is that Jupiter placed here, while is in not a promising sign, is giving some great aspects to your 12th house, 8th house, and 10th house as well, and is going to bring expansion from a mental peace, emotional aspect, your movable, immovable assets, your properties, vehicle purchase, etc. We've done a detailed video on the transit of Jupiter, and I, urge you guys to go ahead and check out that video as well to get an absolute clarity as to how things will be panning out. However, Jupiter is going to be making a transit from its nakshatra standpoint. He will be moving from Mrikshara nakshatra, where he is currently placed, into Ardra nakshatra. Now, you can also see on the screen here that Rahu is in trine with Jupiter. So, there is definitely going to be a power shift, power balance shift that is going to continue to come through the course of the month. In fact, through the course of this entire transit, whilst Jupiter is going to be in the sign of Gemini. And when Jupiter moves into the Ardra nakshatra, that power balance is going to tilt towards Rahu. And that is why it is going to become extremely crucial for you to remain calm, because there will be certain illusions, there will be certain confusions with respect to your mental peace, with respect to the decision making that you do around your business, with respect to your own health, because Jupiter owns your Lagna and your 10th house. So illusions on all those aspects of ownership of Jupiter with the impact of Rahu and its nakshatra are going to come into play. However, you will sail through possibly through the thick and the thins. It's not that it is going to be permanent. Remember, Jupiter is in an Atichari movement. He is currently in the sign of Gemini. Later, he is going to be moving into the sign of Cancer, where he actually gets exalted and then gets retrograded and further. So it's not going to be permanent. And those fears, those challenges, those doubts that might come in your mind, they will be temporary. And if you continue to sail through in the right direction, you will be able to do well in the long run. Now, Jupiter is also forming that conjunction with Mercury, who's the lord of your fourth house and seventh house in the fourth house itself. Apologies for the delay in the series for this video, and that is why I cannot talk about what happened when Mercury was already placed in the sign of Taurus. But Mercury's presence in the fourth house is very promising because it encourages you to build that peace of mind. It encourages you to establish on your assets. It encourages you to bring the right purchases in your life. He will, in the last part of the month, move into the sign of Cancer, which is in the last week, from where he will be giving an aspect to your 11th house. So, not only your efforts, which are coming in through your career, through your profession, through your studies, through your homemaking activities, from your social actions perspective, but the creativity bit would also start oozing. And in the last part of the month, you will see that it will fructify into some real material outcomes as well. Now we move on to the most crucial bit, where Rahu and Ketu are in your 6 and 12 axis, where Mars is becoming conjunct with Ketu in the 6th house. Mars brings the ownership of your 2nd house and your 9th house. So for Pisces, he is a pretty prominent and crucial planet. And when he comes into the 6th house, what you can anticipate is that your gains, your money, your income will rise with the efforts that you are going to put on a day-to-day basis. Your job, your competitive examinations and preparation towards that, success in those areas, because luck factor or the blessings of the the superiors at your workplace, the blessings of your elders, guides, mentors, is going to trickle down into your 6th house, into your day-to-day regime. And you will see that there will be some bit of that destiny factor, that luck factor, which will start playing out and panning out positively for you, especially for the next 2 months, because Mars, guys, is placed here till almost the end of July. So it is going to be a very positive movement. The fact that Mars has finally come out of debilitation, and in the earlier part of the month, he was there until 5th of June in your 5th house itself. But now he's come out of debilitation and he's in the, Atrishada house in a 6th house itself. But it's not a bad movement. It's the 10th movement for the 9th Lord, and it's the 5th movement for the 2nd Lord. And thus it brings a lot of promise towards success. This Mars is giving an aspect towards his own house, towards the ninth. So there is going to be a risk of argumentative situations with your father, at your workplace, with your bosses, with your superiors. Remain calm, remain composed, and you should be able to sail through that successfully. It is going to be giving an aspect on Rahu as well, who's trying to control Jupiter. So it's going to be a good aspect of Mars because he's a powerful planet for you guys. He's almost a Yog Karaka planet for you folks. And then last but not the least, he is going to dial up some of that anger, some of that, aggression in you as well because of his eighth aspect, which is going to make it tad bit difficult or put you in risky situations. See, the fiery energy of Jupiter, of Mars and Ketu combined is like 2.5 Mars sitting in the sixth house. It forms a very strong Shatruhanta Yoga for you guys, but at the same time, you have to be cautious of not getting into any situations where you burn your bridges, where you burn your relationships. So be calm in such difficult circumstances, remain composed, and try to handle that effectively. Well, I hope, guys, this video made sense. June is a month with a lot of promises for you, Pisces. Put your best foot forward. Take care of your health. Don't worry about the obstacles coming in. Just go on, head on to tackle those situations. Continue to work towards whatever you're doing, your preparation towards any competitive examination, your job, your business, entrepreneurship, homemaking, whatever. You are going to find success in that area. There will be improvement in your relationships as well. As I said, Mercury is in decent position, and then he is coming 11th to itself later in the last part of the week of the month, and will be giving an aspect to the 11th house. So relationships are definitely going to see an improvement as you proceed week over week. All in all, June promises a lot of tick for you guys. Put your best foot forward and keep watching Dev Astrology. Please smash on that like button, subscribe to Dev Astrology. Om Namah Shivaya, Har Har Mahadev.